All right, so the first match on the main card was Paul Craig versus Jamahal Hill, light heavyweight. I didn't really know what to expect in this fight, to be honest. Jamal's got a lot of hype behind him. Paul Craig's obviously had some big fights, shown a lot of experience. So I was just going to watch it and just report what I see. The fight starts, a little hesitation, but it seems like Paul Craig really wants to get the fight to the ground. I usually don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing guys pulling guard, flopping to their backs. So I'm thinking I'm not so impressed with Paul Craig at this stage. I'm a fighter to fight, to get in there and brawl. And, obviously if you get in a real fight like in Pride rules, or you get in a fight on the street or something, you're not going to fall to your back. So, to me, a UFC fight's a fight. It's not a BJJ match. It's not a grappling tournament. But I will say there was definitely reason to Paul Craig wanting to go to the ground, because he was very, very busy once he got there. Transitions were great. He went straight for the arm, put Jamahal Hill in an arm bar, and absolutely broke his arm. Vicious. I mean, just broke it. You can just see it snap. And, hats off to Jamahal Hill. He didn't tap. He didn't quit. He kept fighting out of it. His arm was just flopping all over the place. And then it was eventually stopped. I want to say that I don't agree with the stoppage in regards to it was late. I think, I understand that, like, there's different angles of, seeing what's going on and seeing the action. But when a guy gets put into an arm bar, as a referee, your job is to look at that arm. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else to look at. So if you don't have a clear side of that arm, you should move and get a clear side of that arm, because that arm breaking is what you're looking for, or you're looking for a tap. Either way, you got to be looking at that arm. And he clearly didn't see the break, which was very visible on the replay. So he didn't put himself in position to see it. Or he didn't recognize that that was what an arm break looks like. And I know it was later just announced that the arm didn't break. It broke. It didn't break because it was in the joint. But I mean, everything that's holding the bones together is torn and ripped apart. So I'm gonna just call it a break, even though maybe a bone didn't break. Everything else was gone in that elbow. So. I want to say something else too. I don't kind of agree with is 90-year-old referees. I don't understand this. I don't understand there's so many valid, young, strong, physical referees that can get in there and do the job. That's got quick reflexes, fast motor skills. They're strong in case something goes on. I mean, what happens if these light heavyweights, the bell rings and they're heated up and they don't stop fighting and they start continuing fighting after the bell, and he's got to get in there and break it up. This man can't break up anything. I mean, I don't understand how a guy can get a ref license at 90 years old or 80 or however old this guy is. There's no way this guy could have done anything physical to control this fight. And I think that as a ref, you need to have the ability to pull guys apart. Big John, that's one thing about Big John. When he was a ref, he was big enough that no matter what happened, he had the strength and the size to pull those guys apart if things got out of control, or stop a fight by pulling people apart if an arm breaks or if something happens. I've seen in the past UFC, they've had, I don't know what her name was, but there was a female referee that was very small, just a tiny female referee, and she's reffing like heavyweight men fights, where it's like 240-pound guys, 250-pound guys. She can't do anything. I don't understand this. I never will. If you guys think I'm wrong, leave a comment below and tell me how I'm wrong. I fought 15 times in the UFC. I've been watching the UFC for 20 years, and I've been in martial arts since I was a kid, over 30 years. So. In my experience, in my opinion, I think a referee should be qualified in every regard, mentally, educationally, and physically. And I think they should be able to identify if an arm breaks. I think they should be able to break a fight up no matter what size the opponents are, or at least give a good enough effort to get in there and cause some kind of separation. And I don't like seeing, when there's just so many people that can be refs out there. I don't like seeing a guy that old. And it's nothing against the guy, hats off to him for trying to go in there and do his thing. But I don't agree with it. And I think it puts the fighters in danger. And I think it did tonight. I think I don't think nothing good happened after that arm popped. I mean, it didn't break, but whatever you want to call it. After the arm went limp and it was flopping all over the place, nothing went good from the time that happened until the time the fight was called. And that ref could have stopped that fight earlier and not had that happen. So, all those flops was just tearing more tendons and ligaments and causing more damage that he's going to have to sit out and wait on to recover. So, yeah, I guess the majority of my recap on that is just the ref's lack of qualifications, in my opinion. But hats off to Paul Craig. Fantastic fight. It's a great example of where it starts out in a way where I'm not that big of a fan of his style, not a fan of how he's fighting, and then he turns it around on me because he just does so damn well and gets the job done and couldn't have won in a more dominant fashion. So hats off to Paul Craig. Can't wait to see who he's got next. The sky's the limit. I think he's going to be going up and facing tougher competition now.